Hello and welcome back to the Game Bet Match podcast. I'm your host, Manny Friedman, along with my co-host
Brad Sloan.
and a special guest, our numbers expert, Mr. Piranha. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Happy to be here, and thank you for having me, guys.
You're very welcome. It's a pleasure to have you on.
Tony, why don't we start? Why don't you tell us a little bit about like kind of your background, what you do, how you like to bet, anything else you want to talk about, etc. And that way the viewers get to know you a little bit.
Yeah, so my background, gambling my whole life since as far as I can remember. I was a poker player for about 20 years and kind of did sports betting off and on throughout that time. Did some like NBA attempts at NBA modeling with some success, and then got into tennis maybe about 4 years ago, and have been. I took a little break, but pretty consistently have been working on models for tennis now for about 4 years, and just constantly tweaking, refining them, and I'm heavily numbers based. I do try to watch some matches, but it's mostly just data for me. I try to keep my own input out of it. When I do put my opinions into it, things don't seem to go as well. But I do think there's a lot of value to watching the matches as well. So I don't discount that. But mostly numbers for me. And yeah, that's it. I mean, I'm not sure if
well, we're more qualitative guys, I would say.
Yeah.
We're based on watching the match and stuff. I mean, a little bit of numbers, obviously, but I mean, that's why we thought you were a good addition to the show because you can add that insight. So
Absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah.
thank you. So
Sure.
So I guess without further ado, we're gonna first preview the quarterfinals for tomorrow, and I think there's some round of 16 matches due to some rain delayed matches. We'll play guess the lines with Brad, and then we'll discuss it and all that jazz. So I guess you want to start with Barcelona, Brad?
I think that makes sense. Yeah, it's probably the biggest tournament.
Yeah. All right. Sounds good. So we got Cam Norrie, first match tomorrow. Cam Norrie against Tomas Martin Echeverry. What's your pick on the line there?
Yeah, so my initial guess, and I actually this is the one line I've looked at. My initial guess was Etch as a half a game favorite.
Okay.
So like a -120 with Etch and a Norrie at even money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we got this is Bet365 actually. So Norrie's a slight favorite, actually, -125, Etch is +100. I don't know. This is hard for me because Norrie had a convincing win against RBA, and then Etch played a tough match with Nakashima, right?
Yeah, the other thing is I looked at the stats.
Uh-huh.
Norrie's a few, basically no matter how, I mean, and it's hard to like, again, it's just cutting stats, but if you look at the clay court, just the overall, if you look at since the beginning of 23, or if you look at just since the beginning of 24, if you look at the serve points won and return points won, I think as well as their overall records, I think Norrie has a slight edge on both, which is why the line is set where it's set. I don't know. I have a hard time evaluating Cam Norrie as a player. What do you think, Manny? Do you think he's really hard to evaluate as a player? I do.
He is. I mean, I had RBA on the money line. Like, I didn't like what I saw from Norrie in the first match. Who did he play in the first round?
Nick Hart. He beat Nick Hart 7-5, 6-2 from the Dominican Republic, a qualifier.
Okay.
Well, I'd seen play once in like Davis Cup.
Yeah, I was gonna say. So I've got last 12 months. I've got Norrie at 105 for hold plus break, and I've got Etch at 108. So actually ahead of him. Last 6 months, though, I believe Norrie is ahead. I've got Norrie at 119 and Etch at let's see, about the same. It's like about 119.
Is that on clay, Piranha, or is that all surfaces?
That's just clay.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't have hard included. I separate everything out. I think it's even indoor and outdoor hard. I do some separating with those, but
Norrie leads the head-to-head 1-0. They played on clay last year in Buenos Aires, which is actually, I mean, I know it's South America, but it's slightly similar conditions in that it's both like two of the slower clay courts. and Nori 1 and 3, 5-7, 6-love, 6-3. And I think you can take some stock into that because I don't really feel like each player has necessarily got that much better or that much worse since then. Maybe Etch has improved, a little bit since then, but I think the injury has kind of pulled him back a little bit to where he was at that point last year. From a matchup perspective, just from like the eye test, the Nori forehand, kind of if he's able to hit it heavy into Etch's backhand, could be problematic.
But the Etch forehand is the best shot on the court, right?
I would say so, slightly. I think the 3-set line is a good play here. What do you see a price on it?
It's probably gonna be in that plus 125, plus 130 range. I mean, it almost always is. I mean, these guys are so close. The over under the games is pretty high, right? It's like it's got to be at least 22 and a half. 23, 22 and a half.
22 and a half.
Yeah.
But it's a juice 22 and a half.
I can tell you I will likely be on Nori. I have him kind of outperforming market expectation.
Okay.
Last 3 months, I have Etcheverry right at market expectation, Nori over. Last month, it's Etch below market expectation and Nori at. I will say this, the one match I did watch was Nakashima. First round, he played Dan Evans. Nakashima played unbelievable. I mean, he played incredible tennis. So for Etch to beat him today, and then he beat Rublev. I didn't see the Rublev match, but I was not surprised at all. But I do give a lot of weight to Etch beating Nakashima. He was pretty fortunate to beat him. I don't even think he won 50% of the points. But
I'm a chronic Nakashima fader, just because I think he's not a great athlete, struggles moving, but I guess he's returning to form. I guess that run on the challenger circuit was pretty good,
Yeah, I'm not saying Brandon Nakashima's in general a guy that you want to be on, but he was playing incredible tennis when I saw him. So just striking the ball. Evans just threw everything at him.
So if you're on the Nori side, what do you think of the Nori 2-1 at plus 300?
That's the standard price, right? And I think that market tends to take more hold. I think it tends to take more vig. I could be wrong enough. I think it usually tends to take a little more vig. Just because it's a close match doesn't mean it has to go 3 sets. It can be a close match with 2 close sets too, right?
Yeah.
What's the line? 300 and what? I can tell you what the vig is pretty quick.
What was that?
What's you said it's plus 300.
Well, there's four lines, right? There's 4 possibilities. Either guy could win 2-0 or 2-1.
The Nori 2-0 is plus 200, Etch 2-0 is plus 250, and Etch 2-1 is plus 300.
Oh yeah. Sorry, I'm not thinking. I wouldn't be able to tell you that. I do have that in a DFS spreadsheet, but yeah, no, that's a headache. But yeah, the vig is generally higher on those types of bets. Anything outside of the money line spreads totals, the vig tends to go up.
I don't see a reason why. Usually I like the 2-1 if there's some reason I would prefer a particular guy in a third set. I don't know if I see that here. I feel like this is I'm going to stay away the more I look at it. I can't find an angle here. I was kind of trying to think through it. I can't so I'm looking, on the North. I hear you on the whole break, Piranha, but I'm looking at serve return in terms of service points, return points, Nori's at 104 so far on clay this year. Etch is at 2. Etch is at 100. So I'm not sure how so it's interesting that the whole break is actually flipped from the serve points 1, return points 1.
Yeah, I have Nori with the better stats. I would say though that the average spread that Nori's had, in the last year, his average, if you just take the average of every spread, he's been the 2.5 game favorite. If you take the average of every Etch spread for the last year, he's been a 1.2 game favorite. So Nori's had the weaker competition relative to himself. So, I mean, you always have to take that into account, obviously.
What-
So if you do take that into account, the numbers are probably very even between the two of them.
Which is why, again, the market is saying this is really even. I think this is a tough.
Yeah.
I think it's a close
When
match.
you-
I could honestly see playing either guy. Like I said, my initial lean was Etch, but I think I'm probably just going to stay away. I can't really find an angle here.
See, I'm leaning more Nori based on what you're saying with the numbers, because it's such a hard match to predict also in terms of like style, that like I'm kind of going more based on the numbers here. I don't know. You watched some of the Etch Nakashima match. Did you see any fatigue on Etch like late in that match? That was a concern. Tony?
I didn't see it. The only one I saw was the Evans Nakashima.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't see it. I didn't see the Rublev Nakashima, and then I didn't see it today.
Okay.
I did see that Edge got lucky to win that match. I don't think he even won 50% of the points. I think it was like 49.5. When he was down, got beat up. I think maybe beat up isn't the word, but he lost the first set and then he won a second set tiebreak, right?
Won a second set tiebreak, and he won the third 6-4. For me, it was painful because I bet the Etch -1.5.
Yeah, jeez.
Well, this is an
funny.
interesting one. So you said, Tony, that Etch won. So it's true that Etch won 50% of the points. Nakashima outpointed him 110 to 108.
Yeah.
But Nakashima also served 125 points versus Etch's 93, which is kind of crazy and kind of rare. Which shows that Etch was in more of Nakashima's service games. And on the serve points won, return points won total was actually Etch 104.96 with the edge. So it's kind of an oddball in that sense.
Very good point. Yeah, that is something actually that's something I'm working on right now, is trying to incorporate into the handicapping what you just said. Because the stats don't tell everything, and that's a good point. That tells you that he was struggling on serve. He was having a much tougher time holding.
Yeah, I mean, but yeah, I think bottom line, we've probably beat this horse.
We've beaten this one. I'm actually leaning Nori money line more I think about it.
I'll be on Nori. I don't love it. Just based on what I said, how good I think Nakashima was playing, and Edge just beat him. So that's
All right, next match, Arnaldi against Ruud. What's your thoughts on the line?
I'm gonna guess it's. I'm gonna guess. I mean, Ruud's gonna be a big favorite here. I'm gonna guess it's 4.
Yeah, it's a juice 3.5. So
what is the 3.5?
It's -135.
So it's like 3 3/4.
Yeah,
I feel like if the book is trying to decide 3.5, 4, that -135 is like we can't decide between 3.5 and 4.
I actually don't like. I'm gonna be on Ruud here. I don't like this matchup for Arnaldi. I think so. I've said this before. I think Arnaldi struggles against guys who make a lot of balls and don't make a lot of errors. And even if they're not like super aggressive hitters, just like guys that are consistent and like to make that extra ball. Like if he was playing Munar, for example, I would not like playing Arnaldi in that matchup. Because I think Arnaldi likes to be aggressive and he likes to kind of push the envelope and play like fun points and stuff. And if a guy's not making errors, he just struggles to kind of he loses patience. And I think that's his.
Yeah, but I'm not sure that's. I mean, I don't know that I would categorize Ruud. I think Ruud's more of an aggressive, actually.
Yeah, but he's hitting aggressive, but not making errors too. So it makes
not so much at the backhand, right? It's just that forehand is so heavy, and that I don't know about the backhand. The forehand is so heavy with Ruud, right? The backhand's a little suspect.
It's not as suspect on the surface though, because he has a little extra time, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't characterize Ruud in like the Munar, Luca Van Ash category of like ball maker either. I think he's like a different. I don't know. I would put him in a more aggressive category. He definitely like. The serve is definitely a more important part of Ruud's game. Like I don't know. I think he'll set up opportunities for Arnaldi to scramble around. I do think he'll beat Arnaldi. It's probably worth mentioning. I think Arnaldi beat him last year. I think.
but not on clay. And
It
this is
wasn't. Are we sure? I'll check it. I'll check it.
okay. This is last year was a subpar year for Ruud. This is a much better year. This is much on par with his 22 campaign.
He beat him at Madrid, and I think actually Ruud's a lot of times a better play altitude player. And Arnaldi beat him pretty comprehensively, 3 and 4 in Madrid. I'm not on anybody here. This is another. I hate doing this. This is another pass for me. I do think that Ruud's the better player. I think 4 games is the right spread.
I'm gonna be on the Ruud 2-0 here at -110.
So my thought is I just hate like erratic guys. Betting 2-0 against erratic guys always scares me because like Arnaldi could play great for a set and then just be terrible. Like I feel like actually this is one where like if you're gonna in this particular style matchup, I feel like I'd rather lay the games. Like I said, I'm not on this, but I'd rather lay the games than the sets.
So you're learning the lesson from our Garin Mikkelsen.
Yeah.
Any thoughts here, Tony?
Yeah, I'll kind of throw some numbers of what I have. So last year on clay, I've got 19 matches for Arnaldi. I've got him at about 104 hold plus break.
Okay.
Ruud, 33 matches on clay last year. He is at about 111, 112 hold plus break. Average spread for Ruud, he's been on average a 3.2 game favorite, and Arnaldi has been on average a half game favorite. I did see a couple minutes of Arnaldi's match today. Who did he play? Troncoletti, I think.
Yeah, Troncoletti, whatever.
Yeah, it's funny what Brad was just saying because the part I caught was I believe his box was telling him to like calm down because Arnaldi like signaled up to them kind of like putting his hands down like he was trying to overhit shots, I guess. It was a tough
And that's
game.
what he does.
Yeah, I get that sense too. He likes to kind of put on a show. He's got like some Carlos in him with that.
Yeah,
So yeah, I definitely agree with you there.
I don't think that's going to work against Ruud on a clay court.
I don't either.
Slow clay court. Like Madrid, I mean, first of all, that was a different Ruud. Was that last year or 2 years ago?
It was last year.
Last year. That was a different Ruud. Ruud was not nearly as good last year as he was this year. And I think altitude would play more into Arnaldi's favor there. No,
I don't know. I mean, Ruud's had a lot of success on altitude play, hasn't he? Hasn't he had a bunch? I mean, he's had a lot of success.
Just had success on play in general.
But he's won several titles. Didn't he win a couple titles on altitude last year?
Maybe
I can't remember offhand.
like but yeah, I don't know. I
have a really hard time evaluating these spreads too. Once it gets up above like 4 games above, I have a really hard time. I'll admit, I have a really hard time evaluating like what does it take to be 4 games better than somebody else? And I think it gets hard because like it comes down to like, and 4 games isn't quite this. But once you get up like to 5 and above, it's like how badly do they want that second break?
The first serve becomes very important at 4 and 5. You know, if you think about it logically, like if you serve first as a 5-game favorite, you know, you're going to win 6-3, 6-3 of some, you know, a reasonable percentage of the time, whatever it is, even if it's 10%. Well, it's probably less than that. But if you return first, you're going to have a lot of 6-4s, 6-4s. Essentially, you need that extra break in order to cover the spread. So, you know, 6-3, 6-3, you break twice and you cover. If you're returning first, now you've got to break 3 times. So that extra break is huge on those 4 and 5.
Who would prefer serving first here?
It's 50-50. And by the way, it was 50-50 for the first match as well. I looked. Both these guys both opt to serve, I believe, always. So whoever wins the flip is going to serve, very likely.
Okay.
I'm leaning Ruud for me as I'm just kind of going through it. I most likely am passing, but I would lean Ruud. Probably just the money line, but
Okay.
Yeah.
We got our Brad. We got our futures GBM play on the Ruud to win the quarter at +1.
Yeah, +130, which is I mean, given that Yari got out, so we needed to beat Muller, Thompson, and Arnaldi. That's a pretty good break.
Oh yeah, this is the quarterfinal. So if he wins, we cash, right? So
yeah,
nice.
You're not going to hedge, right, with Arnaldi?
No. I mean, no. Like Yeah, I mean, I think Arnaldi is like on the scarier line of players because, like I said, again, if he comes out and he plays like if he hits his shots, like he could win this match. But I mean, I don't
I
think it's
like
particularly likely.
I like your take with the games better than the set. Like I feel like Arnaldi can just. I feel like he's the type of guy who could beat anybody one set. Like he can just come out and redline.
He beat Carlos in a set.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He enjoys like the challenge. He's the type of guy that
Yeah, he
you
doesn't.
know he's up. Yeah, he's not a guy that he. I definitely would like the games over
Okay.
the two.
All right. I think I'll lay the 4 then.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Fun player to watch. I mean, I love Arnold.
Yeah, he is fun.
He's good. All right, next match. Diaz Acosta against Tsitsipas. What do you think the spread is, Brad?
Oh,
I think it's gonna be big. I've got it at like probably a juiced 5, maybe 5.5. Maybe it's only 5. I mean,
It's 5. Well, yeah, 5.25. It's 4.5 at -150 is what I see.
Yes, it'll be like 5. It'll be like
That's
probably
five.
Got it spot on.
a true 5.
Over under is 20.5 here. Tsitsipas is just really good at clay. Like
Piranha, does Diaz Acosta like to? I mean, I'm guessing Tsitsipas likes to serve first. That's just watching him. It feels like he's a serve first guy. What about Diaz Acosta? I feel like he'd be more of a serve. I could be wrong.
He also, from the data I have, always serves first. I don't have a ton of data. Yeah, I've got actually I have a fair amount. So Tsitsipas serves first 80%. Basically, I've got 98 matches. This is on hard, by the way. I don't think guys switch it up from hard to clay. I have to combine my clay data. Acosta, I have 23 matches. He served first 71%. So it's very likely.
They're basically both serving first always.
Very likely, yeah, that they both.
Those basically, I mean, so yeah. I mean, I hate. I will be passing at 5. I hate these. Like, especially with Tsitsipas, I hate trying to ask if he's going to go for a second break because I feel like sometimes his attacking game is so good. Sometimes he doesn't need it. I think against Offner and Baena, he ended up right around. Actually, I took the 5.5 with Offner and I cashed the first match this tournament. And I think he beat Baena by 5 today as well. Or I think it was today he beat him by 5, 7, 5.
Those are also theoretically better matchups for him than I feel Diaz Acosta because Diaz Acosta can at least he can hit a heavy forehand into Tsitsipas's backhand. Right, that I don't feel like lefties is particularly good. I mean, I know it's clay where Tsitsipas he plays better with the backhand, but I still don't think. I think this is a worse matchup for him than the first 2 matches.
That's a great point. I didn't think to look at his Tsitsipas's record against left-handers.
Yeah, but what's his record against left-handers on clay?
I mean, so that's going to get really tricky because there's just not going to be a lot of data, especially like recent data. You're going to have to go back in order to get a good, go down back several years. But I'll look it up for you. Versus left-handers, he's since the beginning of 22, he's 7-6 only against left-handers. So that's that is a good point, man. It's a little concerning. On clay, he's 3-0. But again, there's just not or 2-0. Sorry, not 3-0, 2-0. But again, it's tough. It's just like there's not that many lefties on tour, surprisingly, so it's hard to just collect enough data. But he does seem. I mean, the only lefty that's beaten him since 2019 is Nadal on clay.
Okay. Yeah, it's just not that many, right? Like, how many are there?
Well, he's 9. So since 19, he's 9-2. Since actually, so I'm now going back just for funsies. The last guy to beat Tsitsipas, left-hander to beat Tsitsipas on clay, is Gerald Meltzer in a challenger back in 2017.
Jeez.
Except for Nadal. Nadal's beaten him 3 times, but no other left-hander has beaten him on clay since 2017. I don't know how meaningful it is from a betting perspective. It's just fun.
Yeah. But, I'm leaning to Acosta with the laying the 5, taking the 5 games. That's my lean here. I don't think I'm going to play it. I have Tsitsipas to win the event at +130. So, or no.
When did you get that? The +130?
Was it +130?
I feel like it was +3. Wasn't it +325?
Oh, yeah.
I paid a little bit for it.
Yeah. I'm thinking about the root bet.
Yeah, I just didn't like the price. I think it's a fine bet. I think he's got as good a chance as anybody to win the event. It's just I'm just not a big fan of betting.
Yeah,
guys
it's plus
between-
like 350 or something like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
to win the event. Do you have any lean here, Tony?
This is one. Yeah, I would lean sits. What's the money line? I don't think I would be taking the
Minus
money line.
1,000.
No, yeah, that's too high. There's too much big at that point. Yeah, this is one of those matches. I would lean sits games. It becomes really, really important to get a good price though if you're taking games here. So it really would be a line shop for the games. If I can get something good relative to pinnacle median, I would take it. If I can't, I would pass.
Okay.
I mean, the only other thing really I could add is last 3 months for sits, as good as he has been on clay, he is down $29 as a on the spread as a favorite over 8 matches. So
yeah, I think you got to take out the hard court matches. Like he's so much better on this surface where he's
that is just that's just
it's
clay.
like night and day for him. It's
No, but that was just clay. It makes it. I mean, I think what Tony's saying makes a lot of sense. Like the problem is, I just don't know that Tsitsipas is a great guy to cover these spreads with. Like, it's like I could see him winning a lot, like he did against Offner, like 4-4 or 3-5 or 3 and like. I just don't know how often he wins this like 3-3 or 3-2 or something super convincing. I don't know that he's that determined to get multiple breaks and sets or multiple break leads.
Would you have guessed he would be down money against the spread as a favorite in the last his last 8 matches? I wouldn't have. I mean, yeah, as good as he's playing, you would have thought he had crushed it, right? So that means the market's pricing him well. They're probably overpricing him, honestly, because he's really outperformed, in my opinion, the last few months. I mean, coming into the last tournament, everybody knew Sit's better on clay, but you weren't expecting him to kind of steamroll everybody.
Yeah, I'm amazed at what matches he was a like a loser in. So I'm looking at his results, and he beat Jerry, but I guess Jerry retired, so that becomes a push. He beat Echeverry 1-0. That had to cash. He beat Kachanov 4-2. That had to cash. That was like a 3-game spread. I remember because I took Kachanov to win.
3.5. Yeah, I took that there.
Zverev, was he more than a 3-game favorite against Zverev? I mean, that's kind of
it was basically pick. I think Zverev was like minus 120 in that match.
So, yeah, so that one he would have cashed, and then Sinner he was a dog, right? Like he just doesn't like. I get all like Offner. Like I said, Offner was definitely a massive favorite, and Offner was the cash in the game. So it was a 4-game spread. I think by the end of the day it was a 5.5-game dog. So it was last to this tournament for sure. But looking at the Monte Carlo run, it seems like I just don't know where he wouldn't have cashed, but. I mean, your stats might be right, Piranha. I'm not saying they're not. It's just like
give me a second. No, maybe I have something wrong. Let me check because let's see. So he did not cover against Baena, didn't cover against Offner. I don't believe he covered against De Gere.
Well, Zverev retired at 6-3, 3-2 down, so that would be a push, right?
Okay, that might be where I have the issue. I didn't realize he retired. Oh, you know something?
Yeah, it was a Bush League retirement.
Yeah, okay, I know
like walked off the court. You just didn't feel like playing.
Exactly, and that's what I included that in my stats because of that, because I don't think there was anything physically wrong with him. So like I'll take it out of. So I kept that in my stats, but I didn't take out the spread results. So if you take that out, Sitz is up, but he's not up. He's 3-2, I think, against the spread. He would have been 3-3 with that match included, I believe. I could be wrong here, but no, that's right. So he's. Let me take that out. So if you take De Gere out, he covered. I'm getting confused here, but I think he covered. I think he's 3-2 with covering. I don't know. Yeah, he hasn't covered his last 2, and then he covered 3 in Monte Carlo. So he's 3-2 as a favorite against the spread. I was including that, so that was a mistake.
Oh, and as a favorite, that makes sense. He would have been a dog against Zverev and Sinner, so I forgot about that too. So
well, yeah, he obviously covered his dog. Yeah.
Yeah.
But again, I don't think the market is really underpricing him at this point. So I don't think there's. I think Sitz is greatly outperformed, and he's 3-2 against the spread as a favorite. So
That's a good call. That's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough.
All right.
Again, these spreads of like 5+ are just like really tough because like your guy doesn't like Tsitsipas doesn't need to win this by more than 5 games. There's no bonus points. It's not like he gets like bonus money for like performance of the day or something like UFC.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna take the 5 games. It's small play, but I think I'm gonna take the 5 as a Costa. Like he's respectable in play. I don't know. Think. All right. Last match. Arthur Fils and Dusan Lajovic. Fils had a great win against Demonor, and then Lajovic had a good win against Volcano.
So my guess is going to be pick here. I feel like this should be pick. Fils might be a favorite. Might be like a 1-game favorite, 1.5, something like that.
You're pretty far off, actually. Fils is a sizable favorite. He's 2.5-game favorite, -175 versus Lajovic at +137.
I feel like this could be GBM, man. I feel like Lajovic is a dog. Remember, we cashed this. I'm surprised by this because wasn't Lajovic like a 150, 160 dog against Fils down in South America when he beat Fils like 2 months ago? And he beat him quite badly. It was I want to say it was straight sets. I want to say it was a beatdown, I'm pretty sure.
Market loves Fils, I'll tell you that. They price Fils quite
it was
a bit.
3 and 4. Lajovic beat him in Buenos Aires 3 and 4, like 2-3 months ago. And I remember Lajovic was he was roughly a +150 dog. I'm surprised this hasn't moved more. I mean,
I think they're taking they're baking in the Fils win against Demonor. I think they're weighing that pretty heavily here. Like, I mean, Fils look really good. I don't think one match can be a true representation of form, you know. So I tend to side with you. I'm gonna go with Lajovic here too.
I also think another thing that's to be said about Fils is he's played a lot better since he came back to Europe.
He has.
I think there was something about being in the Americas that, especially South America, he just didn't like. I don't know if it's like the humidity, the heat, like, but for whatever reason, he just did not seem to be interested in playing.
He played pretty well against Musetti in Monte Carlo. Like that was a pretty high quality match, especially towards the end of it.
I mean, Fils can play high quality tennis. We've seen it. Like it's not like it's like unbelievable why people would like Fils. Right. Like if you're a tennis fan, I can see why you'd like Fils. Man, you and I have talked about it, and maybe I have a dinner bet that Fils is gonna be what, top 10 in the world by the end of the year. So
not by the end of the year, just at some point.
What?
It's just at some point. I feel like I should just pay you the dinner and just get it over with. But, you know, like
I think Fils could make it into the top 10.
Definitely. But not at some point.
This year?
This year, no. I don't think it's going to happen this year. If you had asked me last year, though, like after he'd won that title, I think his first title,
that's exactly what I said.
There's a pretty good chance.
Dinner.
Well, that's when we made the bet. So this was a chance of I got the fade in at the right. I think I was able to sell high or sell Manny high on the bet.
Well, maybe if I bet Lajovic, I'll at least win the money to pay for the dinner. You know, like. So
yeah, I think you can make an argument this should be close-ish to pick. Plus, man, you and I talk about it. Like, I feel like Lajovic is really undervalued on slow clay because he's really only useful on that surface. Like, he's not good on anything with altitude. If there's too much speed, if the court's too fast, he's done because he's just slow. Like, that's the best way to describe him as a player. He's just slow. But that backhand is so good when he has time. That one-handed backhand. Yeah. It shouldn't be. I mean, it's being like the high 50s, low 60s tomorrow in Barcelona, right? It'll be sunny, but it shouldn't be like high. It shouldn't be a fast clay court. It should be, and it plays slow generally, so it should be pretty. Lajovic should have plenty of time to rip that backhand around the court.
It's a pretty slow court.
It's slow.
I haven't seen Fils. When he first played clay this year, though, he was awful, wasn't he? His first couple matches, like really.
That was the goal. That was the South American clay. That's what we were referencing.
Yeah, he's improved.
Terrible.
Yeah, I mean, I have my numbers liking Fils here, which is crazy. I have him outperforming the market expectation by quite a bit. Interesting, this tournament, I have Lajovic hold and break at 123, Fils at 118. Lajovic average 1.1 game dog, and Fils average 1 game dog. So, yeah, they've played basically similar competition relative to themselves. Lajovic has the better hold and break numbers. Longer term data obviously favors fees quite a bit. I don't know if it's obvious, but it does.
And that would make
Yeah.
sense if you're looking. You also have to. I feel like Manny and I have talked about this before, and I'm guessing your numbers don't do this, Piranha. I feel like with Lajovic, you really have to focus on slow play events.
No, I have that broken down for hard. I don't have it for clay yet. I'm working on it.
Yeah, because I feel like, I mean, I think you'd agree with that, Manny, right? Like if it's like
100%.
altitude play, Lajovic is in trouble because he's just too slow
100%.
on that backhand wing.
100%. I'm struggling to make this a 2-unit play, like a GBM play, because like Lajovic is prone to some duds here and there. Also that was a pretty long match against Volkina. I don't know if fatigue is going to set in here. That being said, I think the Feast is just like, if that de Minaur match didn't happen, I feel like Feast would be like a 1-game favorite, and that's where the price should be, not 2.5.
He's another guy who's tough to bet on, man. He's I feel like his floor ceiling is so differentiated.
It is.
I mean, look, Feast is the more talented guy here, and he's the better athlete, and he's the, like, if you had to pick a guy who you wanted to coach, you would pick Fees. But like, or who you wanted to bet like over time, it'd be Fees. But tomorrow you're getting Lajovic as a dog. I'll be on Lajovic as a dog, but I can see the argument for Fees.
I'd just be worried. It feels like Fees is just getting better and better and better as these matches go in clay. Who was his last loss to? Do you guys know?
He lost to Moutet in the second round of Monte Carlo, Garin in the second
okay.
throw.
So Moutet beat him.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not exactly a bad loss. Yeah. I'm probably going to be on Fees. I really don't like it. It feels like that line is too high to me too, intuitively, but I just trust my numbers.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna be on Lajovic here, but it's not 2 units.
Okay.
So yeah. All right, let's move on to Icy Munich.
Yeah. Did they get all the matches in today?
They did. There's only 4 matches. Yeah.
Do they have lights? Is that how they got them all in? Because there was a lot of
they just put them on multiple courts and they figured it away. So first match, Taylor Fritz and Jack Draper. What's your thoughts?
I have no idea how to cap this.
It's an interesting one.
Yeah, this is like a terrible match to cap. Fritz has to be a favorite. I'm gonna go with Fritz as a 2-game favorite. I have no idea.
You're pretty close. Fritz is minus 150 on the money line. Draper's plus 120, 1.5 is the spread.
Is it a juice 1.5? Or I guess 1.5.
Minus 115 each.
Okay, so yeah. No.
Yeah,
this one's a hard one. This one would take a lot of thought for me to really kind of break down and think through, just because this is two guys who are really messy to bet.
Mm-hmm.
My temptation might be like a Draper set 1 money line, like to take Draper but shorten the finish line. But I don't know, man.
I don't think physicality really factors in when it's 40 degrees.
Oh, I think it could be the other way, right? Now you're worrying about like muscle strains and muscle, like that kind of thing. No, I mean for real, right? Like that, it's now a different concern. It's not all something the heat and like the vomiting, the dehydration. Now it's the other way. It's also not great conditions for Feast. This feels just like a mess of a match. It might be a complete stay away. Like it's gonna be like 45 degrees. Is it what time is this match? 11 a.m. Munich time?
Yeah, 11 a.m. in Munich.
Guys, I will be right back. I've got to run to the bathroom. I'll be right back.
No worries.
42 degrees at match time with a 14-mile-an-hour wind. This feels like just a complete disaster. I think I'm just gonna pass. And it's just or maybe just take Draper set 1 just because it's plus money, but like it's gonna be like plus but it's not even plus money enough to be worth it. I mean, this feels like a mess. Like it feels like a matter of like who's gonna deal with the conditions better.
Yeah.
No, I don't think Fritz particularly loves playing in windy conditions. I'm sure he doesn't particularly love playing in 42 degrees. It's almost impossible to get data on this because, like,
gusts up to 41 miles
conditions
per hour at some point tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah. During the
the
match.
wind of 14 is actually 11 a.m. is actually like the better part of the day to play in. To your point, like the afternoon gusts are going
Gusts
to be
up to
insane.
36 at 11 a.m., 36 miles per hour
Yeah.
with 40-degree temperatures. Like that's insane. Yeah, I have no idea how to cap this. Like this would be, I wish Fokina was playing because it would be a total Fokina fade spot. You know?
Yeah. I mean, you've got to think just based on where they grew up that Draper has more experience in cold conditions. Just because Fritz growing up in California, like it doesn't get very cold in California. Like I doubt
Yeah.
Fritz has seen a whole lot of 40-degree weather for like 30-mile-an-hour wind combinations. Not that I'm saying Draper has either, but he might have seen a few more. I don't know. Ron, we're trying to figure that we're talking about the weather here. The weather makes this a complete nightmare.
Yeah, I did watch a little bit of Draper the other day. I forget who he's playing. He was wearing like leggings or something
Yeah,
underneath
but
shorts.
he's dropped sets versus both Moliker and like another guy that he's way better than in the first.
Fritz is suspect right now. I'll tell you that. His form. I think he did play pretty well his last match, but the last month or so he's been not great, not up to par for him. Last
Also,
few.
it's worth, man. You and I have talked about this. I'm convinced that Fritz is a much worse player when he's not on American hard courts. I looked at the overall records. You know, just the overall record as a initial like litmus test over the past like 2-3 years.
Yeah,
And he's way better when he's on American hard court, especially the smaller American events.
I agree. I think I'm
Could be.
looking at that trend now. I think I'm just gonna close my eyes and bet the plus money here. Because I think these guys are pretty even and like with the windy conditions, like I think Draper is more in tune to deal with it, and I think like fitness is not really going to be a problem here.
I
What
can
about
throw.
Fritz? Is there anything with Fritz versus lefties? Because that could be something.
Yeah, I can tell you the whole break actually for the last year. Draper's got 6 matches. I have him at 114 hold plus break, and Fritz only at 110. So
Okay.
last 3 months, 3 matches for Draper. He's at 116 hold plus break. Fritz 2 matches at 111. Competition, Draper's actually had the easier competition. So over the last year, though, the average favorite for Draper 3.7, average for Fritz 3.8, so very similar in terms of opponents relative to themselves. So Draper's actually got the better numbers. I can tell you the only thing I have here is I do have Fritz as being very unlucky on clay for the last year. I have some luck models.
Unlucky or bad?
Unlucky, as in he just hasn't. He should have won some matches. He probably lost, so his numbers are a little bit.
All right, that
Probably
makes me want to lean more Draper. I'm going to play the Draper money line. That's going to be my play.
I think this might be. I think I agreed, Manny, with your take. This is not going to be a heavy unit play, but I think this is close your eyes and I'll trust Tony's numbers and bet. But more than anything else, just to close your eyes in these like maddening conditions and just take the plus money.
Yeah, I agree. You betting Draper too? You on Draper?
I'm probably a pass for me. I think I might have misunderstood. I have Fritz as being unlucky the last year on clay. So if anything, like numbers wise, I don't really have anything between.
See, from the eye test on clay, besides a Monte Carlo semifinal run, I just feel like he's just bad.
Yeah,
like more than
it's a tough one.
Maybe unlucky, but just bad.
Yeah, it's an interesting match for sure.
I mean, the variables with the cold temperatures and 40-mile-per-hour wind gusts, like that also it has to play a factor here. You know, it makes
yeah.
You know, what about the under here? What is the over-under? Is the over-under
23.5?
What is it?
23.5.
What about playing the under here? I feel like if one of these goes, especially for Fritz, man, like if Fritz goes down a set, does he just have bigger fish to fry? Like he could, you know, it's like ranking wise, he'll get into whatever Masters and other events where he can build up more points, anyways. And I know he's not like an unmotivated dude.
I got
like,
killed on over-unders today. A lot of these matches are going 3 sets though, because like, especially in these conditions, like I feel like it's going to be hard to maintain that level of focus for a long period of time.
I've changed my bet. I think I'm going to go to the under 23.5. I think that, yeah, like, because the way I'm seeing this is like in these windier conditions, and I doubt you have any numbers on this either, Piranha, but like in bad conditions, especially windy conditions, I got to imagine it's harder to hold serve. And so if that's going to happen, I got to imagine there's less 7-5 sets and tie breaks, which means I'm basically getting 2 sets at minus 120, which again, in bad conditions seems great. Like, one guy just comes out, plays better than the other. One guy just adapts better. One guy is a little more motivated. Like, there's a few different ways I can get here to get behind and over. What is the juice on that under 23.5, Manny?
I have bet 365 up here. It is minus 120.
That to me seems pretty reasonable. I think that's where I'll go, under 23.5.
Okay.
I kind of agree with that take. I think we actually talked about this the other day in the chat. I think when you have very extreme conditions, I think it kind of just throws a monkey wrench into it, and there's potential where one player is going to adapt substantially better than the other to it. And if that is the case, it's going to go under, So you have like if you look at all kind of a distribution of the range of outcomes, it starts to get skewed to having just one of those two people winning, you don't know which one, but one of them is going to adapt better and probably crush the other guy. There's more of that happening than I think there normally would be. I also think it's possible. I mean, this is more, I don't have any proof to this, but I would say if it's really cold and windy and a guy gets down a set, maybe they're a little bit more likely to just pack it in at that point because it's going to be that much more miserable to come back.
Good point.
I don't know. These guys are professionals, so I don't want to. I would say there's a chance of that, like some small chance that they're.
Yeah, I mean, Fritz, but to the point, man, you just said it, we're going to bring up probably Fritz. Fritz doesn't seem like the guy kind of guy to do that. Like, there's a few guys in the show that definitely would do that. Like a guy like a quarantine Moutet would do that. Yeah. There's a few guys out there who would have for sure do that. I don't know that these guys fall into that category most of the time, but these are also extreme conditions.
Yeah, I kind of like that under.
Also, another interesting look, man, he could be either guy on the player games one, either guy under 12.5. If you think that there's going to be more breaks, there's more likely to be, 6x sets. That way you get any 2-0. It's basically you get to play the 2-set line at probably something close to even money. That could be an interesting look too. Or when you're playing under 12.5, I mean, if it's extreme conditions and you get like a 6-2 set, you could actually have the loser of a 3-set match still stay under.
Yeah, I don't know. There is still a little bit of altitude here, and I feel like.
But that's got to be baked into the line, right? Otherwise, why would it be 23.5?
I'm gonna play plus line. I'm playing Draper money line. I get your logic with the under. I want plus money here.
I get it.
Plus money here.
Next, I'll be on the under. I feel actually the more I think about it, the better I feel about that under. Not that it's necessarily going to hit, but I feel better to the tune of like it feels like a 50 to 60% under match or something. I don't know. Okay.
Zverev against Garin. What's your bet on a spread here?
I'm betting the spread will be. I think the spread's going to be big. I think it's going to be like 4.5, maybe 5. But I don't think
exactly what it is. 4.5.
And I'm all over Garin here. This to me is like a multi-unit play, like maybe 3+ units.
Agreed.
This is almost at the level of a Poppy match where I was going nuts like 2 weeks ago because Garin has been injured. I think he said I mentioned this in every podcast. I saw something where he said in like a press conference that he's finally pain free after having pain for months, I think in his wrist. I could be wrong by it, but he's finally pain free. Finally feels over an injury, and the results show it. Like the past month or so, Garin, ever since he came back to Estero, he won 3 matches in Estero. Right, he made the semis, and now he's won 2 matches here. He beat Koepfer and Mickelson. Mm-hmm. For a guy in Garin who first has a lot of skill. Like he was a top 20 player in the world at one point. Yep. And second, he was he's somebody who's also been the other way, right? We've seen him play a lot worse. Like 5-2 in 2 weeks for Garin is much better than he's been in a while. And that would explain why for a guy who clearly has the game and the skills.
He's also won this title before. So
that's a good call too. When did he, although Zverev's a 2-time champ.
2-time champ here?
I believe so, yeah. It's a while back. I have to go back a while, but I think
in
he is.
2019 he won this event. But he beat Berrettini in the final. So I mean, it shows that he likes these conditions, or he's acclimated to them.
Yeah, and then the next piece of it I would say is, I mean, we've said this about Zverev for a while. He lets way too many guys into matches that he should win easily.
Yes.
Like, it's probably not, like, I don't know, like, I want to play this in, like, multiple ways. Like,
I mean, Rodionov,
like,
like of all people, was in the match, right? Like, and could have easily won that first set.
Yeah. Zverev won in 17 and 18 this event. So yeah, he's a 2-time champ.
He has Madrid next week. Like, he doesn't want to play. He's way too spoiled to want to be playing in 30-degree weather with 40-mile-per-hour winds. Like,
so maybe that. And I mean, I have a different take on that. Like, I mean, wind's got to be an equalizer, right? So like, wind just has to be something like like makes things more equal. So I'll take the dog. Like, the wind has to be good for the dog. Has to be good for plus money. All else being equal. I don't know that Zverev has said in the past too that didn't Zverev say that he was
one of the worst wind
on
players.
tour?
Yep.
So
it was after the De Minaur match in Indy Wells.
What?
It was after the De Minaur match in Indy Wells. He said, like, I'm probably the worst or second.
And you have to be careful of this, right? These guys, when they lose, they always complain about something.
He is a complainer. Bad
Especially
conditions
Zverev.
are not
Zverev's
a
like
guy.
a
You don't want to back
complainer.
Zverev in bad conditions in any way.
Like, Zverev's a chronic complainer, but I don't want to back him in bad conditions, even though I think he's probably overstating it a little bit. But yeah, I'm all over Garin here. This is about as exciting as I
Money
can
line is plus 400.
I'm gonna hit that. I think Garin. I'm probably gonna put like 4 units on this. I'll probably go like 1 unit on the plus 400, a unit on what's Garin 2-0, like plus 900 or something crazy.
Yeah.
I'll go a unit there because if Garin wins the first set, Zverev might just pack it in. So I'll put a unit on that. I'll go a unit on Garin. And I'll probably go a unit on the Garin to win a set and the Garin spread as well. I'll probably go 4 units, 1 on each.
Nice. All right. What do you want to make the GBM, though? We got to make something. The money line?
Either the money line or the win a set. Either one of those two.
All right. So tell us that the numbers don't say the complete opposite.
It's probably a pass for me.
Okay.
I'll throw a few numbers at you. So last 3 months, Garin has played 9 matches. His hold plus break is 103. I have Zverev only playing 3 matches. These are last 3 months or last month, and he is at 121.
What is Garin Piranha if you take it to the past month?
Yeah, I was just gonna get to that. So the last month he's played 6 matches and he's at 110 or 111. So he's jumped way up from that 3-month mark. Yeah, I have, as far as market expectation, both of them outperforming expectation. I can tell you in general, Zverev has been awful to bet on the past 2 years, pretty much no matter what surface. I do have him up money at clay, betting on every match. I've got 24 matches with Zverev as a favorite on the spread, losing money. He's down 1.7 units. Garin, 12 matches as a favorite, up 3.7 units, and then 9 matches as a dog, up 1.8 units. So Garin's been killing it as far as betting the last year. Zverev is up as well, down on the spread. So, yeah, Zverev is. We had this discussion, I think, in our chat. He is not a guy I would ever take as a big favorite. He is capable of just throwing in some total duds every once in a while. I don't predict one tomorrow, but it does happen with him. So if you start jumping on these minus 800 spreads, you're nuts, because you're playing Russian roulette with him.
But I feel like this actually makes me feel better, because I feel like that, like, I always like to know, like, if I'm going to make a play like this, I like to at least know why the market is against me. And I actually feel more comfortable knowing that there's a reason for the market to be against me, because I feel like this is a great match qualitatively to be on Garin.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'll be passing, I think, myself. I don't really have any preference here, but yeah.
Okay.
Man, a year call if you like to set the win to win a, because I'm guessing it's fair. I'm guessing you get a decent price to win a set as well for Garin.
I honestly just like the money line at plus 400.
Well, let's go for the money line then plus
Yeah.
400. Yeah, I mean, I think Zverev will win. Just to be clear, like I think Zverev will win the match, but I think Garin's much better than 20% chance here.
100%. I mean, I just love the conditions angle. Like, I just don't think, like, you mentioned that Zverev is not good to back as a favorite in general, but you add those conditions.
Yeah, it is an
Um,
equalizer for sure. I
and,
mean,
that just sways it more into Garin's favor. Also big tournament in Madrid with Rome coming up, with Roland Garros coming up. Like, that has to be, the trial is coming up. Like, that has to all be playing into Zverev's mind. So yeah,
The
I'm
only thing backing, I mean, the only thing against that would be this is Zverev's home tournament. He hasn't done well here recently, but he did win it in 17 and 18. So I mean, he does want to win this tournament. Like I don't think it would be like a motivation at least to start the match. I just think it might be frustration could set in.
okay.
We've definitely seen Zverev get impacted by being frustrated before on a tennis court.
We certainly for sure. For sure. All right. Interesting match. So yeah. So that's gonna be a GBM play for us. The Garin money line plus 400. So next match, Marc-Andre Huesler and Holger Rune.
I mean, Rune should kill him. Will Rune kill him? I don't know, but Rune should kill him. I mean, I'm guessing this is probably 5, just because you won't want to go much further than that as a market. But I'll guess it's 5, and I might even be willing to lay it 5. I got to think about that. But yeah,
It's 4 to 4.5, 4.25.
wow. Oh man, I mean, like Huesler, he hasn't even been playing on the ATP tour. Like he's been nowhere near good enough. Like all of his matches, all of his stuff is challenger level stuff. Like when was he even last? I guess he was on the tour a little bit at the end of the year, but like, yeah, I mean, not there's he's been his rankings fallen off a cliff. He was playing a lot better at the end of 22, and then like last year, something was a really bad year for him.
But he's played better recently. And last week in Madrid, he had a decent run in the Madrid qualifier. I mean, he went through qualifying and then won 2 rounds. And he beat Shang there. He beat Grenier there. He beat
Well, Grenier's not good
So
on clay. He
yeah,
beat Shang.
true.
That's
True.
legitimate. But he
Yeah,
beat
Shang.
Shang in a 3-set, 2-hour, 30-minute match. I
And then
mean,
this week he qualified and then won against Topo and then Hoffman.
Hoffman's the only real win there, right? Like
Yeah.
the 2 real wins of this list are Hoffman and Shang. Other than that, it's all like guys well below. And Rune is one of the better players in the world on clay. I mean, honestly, like if you're somebody who likes to bet big money lines, what's the money line on Rune here? Is it like minus 450 or something? That could be
Minus
a pretty
500.
I honestly think minus 500 on Rune could be or maybe the 2-0 for Rune.
Actually, it's actually decent value.
Yeah, like I really don't see Rune losing this match. Rune's won this event too. I think he's the defending champ, right?
Yeah, 2 years in a row. I mean, he barely got by the skin of his teeth beating BDZ last year. But yeah, he does like these conditions.
He was like, when it was icing today, he was laughing and saying only in Munich, but he didn't seem like there was a funny video of him out on
Yeah.
that I saw where he was like laughing and saying only in Munich during the ice. But that seems to be a better attitude than like being
You know
angry.
what might be the play, Brad, is the under 21.5 at minus 110.
What is the Rune 2-0?
Minus 150.
No.
I like the
Yeah.
under 21.5.
Yeah, the only thing is that Huesler does, I mean, he is a very serve-oriented player.
But in 30-degree weather with 40-mile-per-hour winds.
Yeah, that serve seems like it would be yeah. Although Rune's tactics aren't the best, like is Rune the best win player either? I don't know. Like
I'm hesitant because I don't think Rune is the best as a big favorite either.
Well, he's not, but that's why I'm thinking like maybe I'm guessing he's probably just from watching. I don't have the data on this, but I'm guessing he's somebody who on clay since October or whatever this year is probably somebody who's or even if you just want to take this year on all surfaces. It feels like he's done fine with winning matches, but just not necessarily like covering spreads. If you go back 8 to 10 months, you've got to be careful on the data. because if you remember the middle of last year during like the hardcore
Well,
season.
let's move the discussion to our numbers analyst.
There we go. Yeah, good call.
Yeah, so well, this is a little bit surprising to me actually, but the last year, money wise, if you had bet on Holger every match, he's played 20 matches on clay, and you would be up 12 and a half units. If you bet the spread on every match, you'd be up 2.6 units. Husler has been kind of the opposite. You'd be down 4 units over 12 matches. If you bet every match on the money line, you'd be down a little over 2 units on the spreads. That said, last month stats for each, they've each played 4 matches. This is last month, last 3 months, last 6 months. They will each only played 4 matches. Husler is at 127 hold plus break, and in those matches average 2 game favorite, so he's played worse competition obviously relative to himself. And then Rune is at 102 hold plus break over 4 matches, and he has been an average of a negative 0.4 favorite, so like a half a game favorite. So Rude's played very strong competition. He's at what did I say, 102, and then Husler is way up there, but he's been playing people weaker than himself.
Yeah, so Husler's been playing all challengers, which is why that is. 2 of them on clay this year have been Dimitrov and Sinner.
I think I've been opposite you guys almost every time. I'm going to be opposite against you again. I
Really?
have this as my strong. I have had Husler today was my strongest, and I have him as well. I have the combination of Rune being extremely lucky and Husler as being extremely unlucky over the last year. And then I also have Husler just greatly outperforming the market his last 4 matches. It's only 4 matches, so take it for what it's worth, but he's way ahead of where the market had him in those matches. I mean, he has to be. He's at 127 hold plus break, so he's just crushing everybody, I guess.
So how are you playing it? You're gonna take the games or take a set and a half?
Yeah, I was looking. Holger opts to return, I think always, but it looks like Husler either mixes it up or returns. So I would have liked to have taken the games. I probably will take the games and the money line. I don't like what you told me though, that he's won the tournament 2 years in a row. You wouldn't expect he's going to lose this match if he's won the tournament 2 years in a row. He's probably not going to.
I might be super lame here and play because, man, you and I talked about this. Rune seems to always play to the level of competition. I might be super lame here and play the Rune money line at minus 500. Like, it's such a lame bet for the podcast, but like, there's just like he should just never lose this match. Like
he shouldn't. Yeah. Rune has been quite a bit more consistent as of late. You know, I would stay far away from him 9 months ago as a big favorite in any match. Right.
Well, I think
I bet the over on games with the line.
The qualitative piece of that, Tony, is that I think from July to September or July to October, he was playing with a clearly injured back, and he continued to play through it. I don't know why these guys.
Is that what it was? Yeah.
What?
Yeah, that makes sense then, because he just kind of dropped off there for quite a while.
And he was playing like a challenger level player because he was like, I really don't understand why these guys do this. Like, why Tsitsipas played at Indian Wells last year when he literally couldn't hit a topspin backhand. Like, it baffles me why these guys make these decisions. I guess they just want to cash the paychecks, but like,
they need better people around them if they're making those decisions. I mean, you need somebody on your team to say, no, you're not.
Tsitsipas. There's no way this can possibly be true. But Tsitsipas's quote last year in Indian Wells was like, "I'm playing here because the ATP requires me to," which is like comical, like as if like you can't pull out of tournaments with injury. Like either he's lying, like or like
it doesn't even make sense.
Yeah, it was pretty funny comment, like.
Yeah, you need a good team around you at that point. I mean, you have to have people that are.
Well, and Rune's team, and we've talked about this, man. Rune's team changes every 30.
Yeah, Rune's all over the place.
Yeah,
they've got issues there. I think Sitz has his own issues with his team, though. So yeah,
his team's bad. honestly, actually, it's both have the same issue. And now they're talking, like Tsitsipas is his dad, and Holger's his mom.
Absolutely, yeah, they both got the same problem.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But I totally agree with these injuries. These guys are nuts to play through injuries. There's no point. Just take 3 months off. Take whatever you need off. I mean, look at Corda's the other extreme. You know, he has a hanging toenail. He's out for 4 months.
Well, but honestly, that's probably not surprising given that, Porter's family clearly has plenty of cash, right? Like,
Yeah,
he
that's
doesn't need
true.
to cash those first round paychecks.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I mean, Draper has like a cut. Cuts his toenail. He just retires. Yeah.
Draper's not the best
He's not
either with
lying.
that.
You know what, though? I gotta give Draper credit, though, man. Like, there's a lot of matches where he's vomiting on the court, and he does play through it. Like, he
And
just,
he
for
wins
whatever
them.
is
He's
just
won
like,
a few of those.
what?
He's won a few of those too.
He has. Well, I
Matt-
watched him play. So Manny and I went to Miami, and I watched him play Yari, and he was throwing up on the court multiple times. And like he was, and it was hilarious because he was throwing up on the court, and then Yari was like going to the side and like asking which of like the pools of like were vomit, like asking the crowd that way he could get somebody to go clean him up. Like it was a disaster.
Yeah, I'll take the over on the vomiting with Draper. But
He should be all right in this weather.
Yeah, it should be all right in 40
true,
degrees.
that's
Shouldn't be a
true.
problem. But for this match, I'm like, it's a mess with the conditions, man.
It is. I'm gonna play the Rude the under 21.5, but it makes me more hesitant. It's probably just gonna be like, 1 unit. It's not gonna be anything crazy.
Yeah.
With the numbers, but all right, last match of the day in Munich is FAA against Jan Leonard Struff. What's your guess here, Brad?
Who's playing Struff?
FAA.
FA, okay, yeah, I couldn't hear it. This should probably be Struff. I'm gonna guess that Struff is I'm guessing on my guess is it's close to pick. And if it's close to pick, I'd want to play Struff. I think Struff should be like at least a 2-game dog. Probably a 2-game dog is where I put Struff. Or at least a 2-game favorite. I put Struff as a 2-game favorite here, but I'm guessing it'll be close.
You're pretty far off. So Struff is a 1.5-game dog here.
Wow. I love Struff as a dog, man. Like,
Me too.
yeah.
It's definitely Struff money line. That's GBM worthy in my eyes.
Yeah, I think so too. I think he's at home, so the motivation, and like he's a guy who like winning this tournament. I don't think he's won this tournament before, but winning this tournament would be a big deal for him.
Yeah.
I
mean, it would be a big deal for FA too. Like winning anything for FA is a big deal now.
Yeah,
right?
I just don't know. I mean, FAA should have lost. I mean, I had the Martyr money line against him in the first round at plus 375, and FAA hit a line on match point down. Rather aggravating watch. Altmaier was up, Martyr was up 5-2 in the third set, served at 5-3 and couldn't hit a first serve in. FAA is really, he's good on indoor hard. He's fine on indoor hard now, but outside of that, he's a problem. I mean, I just don't think like.
Did you see much of the match versus Daniel today?
What?
Did you see any of the match versus Daniel today?
Like 5 minutes and he looked fine, but also Daniel is like prone to bad matches himself, I feel like.
Daniel, I guess, doesn't have the weapons to hit through the court. Like that's one thing I kind of underestimate. I thought like he could make enough balls, but like if you can't hit through the court in any capacity and you can't put any pressure on the opponent, like
Struff could probably hit through a negative 30-degree court.
He probably can.
He might make a lot of errors, but he could probably hit through the court.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, and I like Struff. Struff's always a guy I prefer to bet on as a dog, anyways, just with his game style.
Agreed.
So yeah, I'll be on Struff money line here. Also, the over. What's the over under? The over could be a really good look here, but I'm guessing the over is going to be 23 or higher. But if it's not, I think the over could be a good look here too.
It is 23.5.
What's the over 23.5?
Minus 110. But that's on Bet365. You might be able to line shop.
Yeah. If I can find an over under 22.5, I'd love to get that. If I can find an over 23, probably not as excited. I mean, these guys just seem like pretty served.
With these conditions, though, I'm so hesitant to hit overs.
You're probably right.
So
Yeah, I'm probably going to just take the Struff money line. That's whatever. It's what is it? Plus 125? Plus 130?
110.
Plus one. Oof.
But that's
I'll
on.
still take it, but
A lot of them might have a better price, though.
Yeah.
What did the numbers say, Tony?
Well, I think every match I'm opposite you guys, and
Wow.
I really hate this one intuitively. Every time I watch Felix, he just looks awful. Before I go into the numbers, how did he look today? Did he play better today? I mean, I watched the first little bit of that first
I
round
mean,
match.
we
It
were
was
on
terrible.
Daniel, so it was a bad play for us. I
Was
mean,
Felix playing well, or?
I didn't see it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he just every time I watch him, he just I guess I have that indoor standard burned into my mind of how well he was playing 16 months ago, and he is just so far off of that. I had him, I think, that first round match against Martyr, and he obviously got through it, but he looked terrible. But the numbers, both guys have played 4 matches in over the last 6 months, all over the last month. Struff, he is at 99 hold plus break, with the caveat that on average he has been a 1.6 game underdog. So he's been playing much stronger competition. He's at 99 hold plus break. Felix, same 4 matches, is at 109 hold plus break, but he's been an average of 2.5 game favorite. Just some general kind of money line stats. Felix over the last year, 8 matches on clay. You'd be down 5 units betting him on the money line. You'd be down 3 units betting him every spread. Struff, 14 matches on clay. You'd be up 8 units betting him on the money line, and you would be up 2.4 on the spread. So Struff been the much better guy to be on, but my numbers, like Felix, they have Felix as being extremely unlucky on clay last year, over 8 matches, and then also have Felix outperforming the market the last format, doing a little bit better than Struff. But I hate it. Like I cringe every time I have.
Yeah,
a bet on
my
Felix.
concern here is if you look at the difference in level of competition,
That is a huge factor. Yeah.
FAA has played Luca Nardi, Sonigo, Martyr, and Taro Daniel in those 4 matches that you mentioned, Piranha. Struff has played Baez, Coric, Sinner, and VDZ. So you mentioned the level of competition before, but it's a pretty big gap. I mean, and then
Huge
I got to
gap.
imagine that whole break is significantly impacted by getting beat down by Sinner, which probably FA would get beat down by Sinner too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No question.
99% of the tour right now would be beaten down.
Joking, right? Like, I don't know if FAA was ever good enough to beat Sinner right now. Certainly right now he's not.
Indoor hard, he might maybe give him a run for his money, but
yeah.
I mean, that's favorable for Sinner as well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, Sinners.
yeah.
Yes.
Bovada has a Struff money line at plus 115, Brad. So it's slightly better.
Yeah.
But
yeah, this is one I'm gonna bet, and I'll be cursing tomorrow when I watch. I literally I put on Felix's matches when I bets on him. I turn it off after 10 minutes. I just can't take it. I mean, it's just it's unbelievable.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to Romania. So we got
Bucharest, the tournament that's been pushed back by rain constantly.
Yeah. I mean, we'll have some I think double headers, right, for some guys.
Yeah. And there's no lights here, so you're gonna have to play quick. The other funny part, Manny, is guess what they're doing? They're doing a 10 a.m. start, your favorite thing.
Yes, that's good.
So they 10 a.m. start on the tour for a long time now. For some of these turn slams and stuff.
So they start at 3 a.m. So that's like Australian Open night session kind of.
Yeah.
Wow, sweet.
Yeah.
There's a chance I'll actually maybe watch. I might stay up inside to watch. I don't know. I feel like I might watch a little bit before I go to bed.
That's midday for me, so I'll be up watching.
Where are you?
I'm in Florida, but I actually just woke up about an hour ago, so I'm up all night. Yeah, typical night. I'm looking at, I'm watching the lines all night, tracking them.
Okay, I got you. When everyone else is sleeping, you're making money.
Well, just try to keep an eye on what's going on. Yeah, there's, the main ones are Pinnacle, Bookmaker, and Betfair. So I
you play on Pinnacle? Does Pinnacle allow? Does Pinnacle allow American players? I guess with a VPN.
No, you can't use a VPN.
Okay.
They'll catch you with that.
Okay.
There's ways. No, technically you're not supposed to. You definitely
Yeah.
don't want to try a VPN. VPNs pool their addresses, so like the sites will a site like Pinnacle will know right away if you have.
Oh yeah. They're a smart enough. Yeah, known enough. So that
You
makes sense.
need either to remote into someone's computer, so someone has a physical computer in Canada and you team viewer into it works, or if you're really serious, they do have like proxy servers you can like with actual unique IP addresses that are untraceable, but that's a lot of money. I think it's
Yeah.
I don't it's hundreds of dollars a month at a minimum to get something like that. But yeah, so it's important kind of keeping the reason I'm keeping track of the lines is those are the sharp books, and I have a lot of square books I bet in, so they're slow. So if all of a sudden I see Betfair and Pinnacle moving, which often happens, and I like the other side, I'm going to jump right on it as fast as I can on the slow books.
Mhm.
Yeah, line it's essentially some line shopping, that type of thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Makes sense. It's
All
actually
right.
so important. Man, I talk about how all the time how important all these other aspects of gambling are, than just knowing the sport itself.
That is the single most important. Like everything I could ever tell you about sport, all the numbers I could give you, nothing is more important than getting a good line. All your focus should be on getting as many books as you can and getting the best line that you can. At the end of the day, we're dealing with like these tiny edges. You've got, let's just assume we have a 2 or 3% edge. So if you're able to consistently, pick lines that are let's just say 1.5% better on average than just kind of having one book and taking the line every time, you just improved your edge by 50%. Like
Yes,
you just went from 3 to 4.5%. So it is imperative to get good. That is the single most important thing there is. Like you should never be. You should be looking at Pinnacle, and you should be looking at Betfair, and you should never be taking anything that is far off from them. You want to get something that's close to their median, or at least what they have on the outsides of their, their with the big included.
yeah.
You start taking stuff 5 cents off Pinnacle, you might as well light your money on fire. I mean, that's
Yeah.
yeah.
I know.
You wouldn't have to know a single thing about tennis betting. You could just go to Pinnacle and
Also,
look at.
sometimes the line moves in the way you want it to, and sometimes it doesn't. It's that's hard to predict, like where the line will move.
Yeah, it's very hard. You do know though that if Pinnacle and Betfair move, that the other books will follow. That is something that is going to be inevitable. So that's kind of what I'm looking for at night, is to kind of be ahead of the move at those slower books. But in general, the tennis market is not efficient. It's not like football, not like basketball, certainly not like soccer. Yeah, it's unbeliable how bad the market is at tennis. I mean,
It's not great. There are edges to be had for sure, for sure. All right, let's get into these matches. So Kecmanovic against Pedro Martinez. This line has been up, so I guess I'll just say it. Pedro is a -125 favorite. Kecmanovic is +100. Pedro is a half a game favorite. I have a bet already on Pedro here. I'm laying the half a game. I think Pedro has been underratedly good in the last like couple months. I don't know. I also just don't trust Kecmanovic, especially in like rain where he has to like potentially come back. He might just mail it in. I think that's a narrative that I could see. What are your
Now
thoughts?
it's not supposed to rain tomorrow for the first time all week.
It's not, but the fact that Kecmanovic has to play 2 matches in a day,
Yeah.
like I think that could play because I don't think Kecmanovic has the fitness to do that.
I don't know. Like, I know he's got a little bit of a beer gut, but I don't know, man. Like, you can be fat and fit. Like, that is a thing. And I think I don't want to say Kecmanovic is just fat and fit, but like, I think he's more fit than some guys on the tour.
Draper.
Yeah. Corda's probably more injuries, but yeah. Yeah.
I don't know, I'm also weighing Pedro's form. Like great run in Estoril. Um, right, making the final there, and then this would be his first match, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't have a play here. I think this is a really tough match to bet for me. I just don't have a good. Yeah, like, it's. I don't know. I mean, we talked about it before. Like, Kecmanovic's the tough. He's one of the tougher guys on the tour to bet too.
He's really tough.
His level is very up and down. What's the over under here? Under could be an interesting look.
Yeah, 22.5 standard.
Could under could be an interesting look. The only problem is it could go 3 sets, but under could be an interesting look.
I think the fact that they have 2 matches in a day, it might cause one guy to mail it in after losing the first set, and that gives the under some value, I feel. Right? Because the winner is going to have to come back. So like if someone wins the first set, they might just be like, oh, I don't want to come back, play 2
The only thing is, like, there are points out there and there is money out there for both these guys for winning. You know, it's like the points and the money matter for these guys, and there are points out there for winning that first match. Like,
Okay.
you know, a quarter is a better result than a round of 16 loss, but I don't really have a play here. I'll be interested to hear what Tony has to say.
Yeah, I like Pedro here. I've got, well, let's see, quite a bit of data on Pedro. Last 3 months, he's played 11 matches. He is at 110 hold plus break. In those matches, he has been an average of a half game dog, which is extremely good results. Last month, 6 matches. I've got him at 112 hold plus break. Average spread on those is basically a pick 'em. He's been an average 2.8 point favorite, and then an average 2.8 dog, 3 matches each. The overall, Kecmanovic, let me look at him. So not as much data on him, just 4 matches. That's all in the last month. And I have him at 99 hold plus break. Average spread, he has been a 1 game dog in those matches. So he's played people slightly better than him. Pedro has been playing also people about a half game better than him. But Pedro way ahead on the stats. That's really the reason for the bet. Longer term data, just betting data, which I don't really put much stock into this, but last year, Pedro 19 matches on clay. If you bet him every time on the money line, you're up 10 units. If you bet him every time on the spread, you're up 7.6 units over 19 matches. So unbelievable numbers. Kecmanovic, exact opposite. 16 matches on clay. If you bet him every match, you would be down 5 units. This is really amazing. If you bet every spread, you would be down about 9.2 units over 16 matches. So he's been awful, just from a betting perspective. But there's no real.
I mean, we say all the time, Kecmanovic is probably the hardest guy to bet on tour.
Yeah,
he's like, I rarely back him, but I honestly just like very often just stay away from his matches.
What was it? The Australian where he had a little
run there. Yeah.
He beat Tommy Paul
and then got absolutely destroyed, right?
And that's the thing. Like, he can be like, he has the game and the ability to beat like these top guys. He just doesn't do it very often. But like, he almost beat Alcaraz in Miami a couple years ago. What was it, 2023? Manny, like, not obviously he played incredibly well that day, but like he does, like he has it in him. Like Kecmanovic is the higher upside guy in this match. Like, if Kecmanovic plays his A game, he wins.
Agreed.
Now the chances of him playing his A game are not high, but
yeah, I'm on Pedro here, right?
Okay. Yeah, some interesting stats. I pulled the stats since the beginning of 23 on clay at ATP level, because Pedro's played a lot of challenger matches. His ranking is rather low. Pedro's 9 and 10, service points 1, return points 1 of 101, hold break of 101. Kecmanovic, 11 and 12, service points 1, return points 1 of 102, hold break of 106. So that's since the beginning of 23 on clay. So like longer term data on the hold break and the serve points 1, return points 1. Slight edge Kecmanovic 102, 101 on the serve points 1, return points 1. But not much. But it's pretty close to pick, right, Manny?
Yeah, pretty close to pick.
Yeah,
Pedro's slight favorite, minus 125.
Yeah, you know, something that's interesting about that, I don't go past a year. I don't think it really, like, I don't even think 6 months ago or even 3 months ago matters that much. It's almost a progressive thing. You know, I don't know the right way to weight it, but obviously the most recent match should have the most weight, and then it should go down from there. It's essentially like a exponential decay function, which people use in the NFL to handicap, where like as you get one match back, it gets some percentage less predictive. So yeah, I guess my point is if you could start going back like a year and a half, it's basically doesn't mean anything. I don't even know that a year ago means it. I mean, just look at guys like Felix and Rune and Fritz and Tsitsipas, and I mean they're just their levels are up and down.
yeah. I guess I feel like it depends. Like I agree with you in general, Tony.
There's some value.
Some players, like like a guy, because the only advantage, right, is you're getting a bigger sample. Right, it's the only advantage of adding in those. It may not be as good of a sample, but you're at least extending your sample. You're getting more points in your sample. I agree with you. The nearest points are by far the higher quality points.
Yeah.
The only thing I would say is qualitatively, I don't know that Pedro, for instance, is any different of a player. I don't know, I don't know that Pedro's improved massively over the past year and a half. Like, I think Pedro's 28, 29. I don't know that he's I mean, I can actually pull it right now. Yeah, Pedro's 27. I don't know that he's suddenly a better player than he was a year ago. Like these guys get hot for a tournament too, and then it was just a hot week, So
He also had he won a challenger before he made the final Vestirol.
Yeah.
So like he's backed it up with 2 solid weeks in a row.
But I mean, I would expect Pedro to play at a near top 50 level on clay.
I think he's about that.
I mean, he's at 110 hold plus break over his last 11 matches, and that's as an average half game underdog. I mean, that's unbelievable.
Yeah, the only thing I would say again is that 5 of those are a challenger, so 5 of those are ATP level. So
I don't have any challenger in here. Those should all be.
Oh, you don't? Okay,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he played in Girona.
Let me look up, make sure I'm telling you the right thing. He has played 11 matches.
No, he has. He has. I assume your challenge level data was in there, but you're right. It's not. If you only have 11 matches, it's not in there.
No, I don't include any challenger. I did look at that. It doesn't work well. It kind of skews the data from it's just not very predictive.
You have
for sure. Yeah.
Tony, do you have like a stat that you use or weigh more heavily than others?
Yeah, well, I can't really go into the methodology, but essentially what I'm looking at is how is this person performing relative to market expectation? I'll give you a simple example of how you could do it is just look at what are their spreads and how much are they winning by, so like right now, Pedro his last 19 matches is up 7.5 units against the spread, so he's drastically outperforming. Kecmanovic drastically underperforming the spread. I don't use that. That's very basic, but even that alone, I would bet has some value. You're essentially just saying, okay, well, this guy is doing better than the market thinks he should do. And by the market, and like a pinnacle closing line, you'd want to look at what is the pinnacle close, convert that to some percentage, and say how much are they under or outperforming that percentage. But so that's what my main stat I look at. I don't use spread to do it, but that would be a simple way of doing it.
Okay.
But I essentially have some formulas that try to take match stats and quantify how they did relative to what they're expected to do.
So Brad, you're passing.
Wow. I might get I'm a pretty heavy lean with Pedro, man. I feel like I agree. Pedro's hot right now. I kind of want to get with Pedro. I don't know. I got to think about it some more. I
We
don't
gotta
think
get
Kecmanovic here. I want to get with Pedro, but yeah.
we gotta get one match we agree on.
Yeah, I
Jeez.
know.
I might get with Pedro here. There's a chance this is gonna be a squad ride on Pedro.
All right, sounds
I don't
good.
know if it's good or bad. It'll be really interesting to see how tomorrow goes because we're against each other on all of
Yeah,
these picks.
I know. We actually like disagreement. I think it's you know it's healthy to have some of that. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
And I feel
Yeah.
like it's been like legitimately interesting disagreement. Like I feel like there's been, this match is probably tougher. This match I might have to go with Pedro because I don't really have a good argument against. But I feel like the other matches they were a good argument against.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Yeah.
Corda and Barrera. Corda is you have a guess here?
A quarter should be a big. I mean, from a book perspective, I'm gonna guess Quarter's like. I'm gonna guess they've put him out at like I don't know, 3.5 game favorite. I don't know that it should be that big, but that's what I'm gonna guess.
It's a juice 3.5, so it's probably more like 4.
Was it 3.5 minus 150 or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like a 4. Oh yeah. As much as I hate, as much as I don't want to do it, I'm tempted to back Barrera. I don't know. Maybe Barrera to win a set, maybe the 3-set line, but I don't think so.
See, I think
it's
the
gonna be a
only
pass.
reason why Barrera won the first match was because of Kokonaka's travel spot. Like he was coming all the way from Sarasota.
Oh, I'm plus Kokonakis. So Sean Calvert had a really interesting theory on this. The Kokonakis actually qualified for he had to win, I guess, he had to win the event. He won the Sarasota Challenger to qualify directly into the French Open. He did that.
Oh, okay.
So like he basically accomplished his. I mean that was a huge accomplishment for him, right? So yeah, to be able between that and the travel spot and Kokonakis in general, he's a guy that I wouldn't necessarily trust to I don't know. He doesn't play well on the tour every week.
Yeah, he's traveling to what, Bucharest? I don't think why would he have any interest in going to freaking Romania? Sorry to any Romanians listening to the show, but I don't know. Like I feel like he would want some nightlife or Barcelona near the water, like clubs and stuff. Like
Yeah, I mean Barrera did qualify. He did beat Puig. That's not a terrible win. But Barrera has not. I mean,
so I absolutely love the under here at under 21.5. I think it's still good enough. Like Corda, if he wins, he tends to win big. Like in Monte Carlo, he beat Fokina 1 and 2. In Indian Wells beat Roman 4 and 2.
we also saw him lose a set to RBA in Miami live.
True. Yeah, RBA was 2 overmatches.
Yeah, we've seen him lose a set to Krudich. We've seen him lose a set to Hugo G. So I don't know. Like,
I mean, we always say Corda's
tough
one
guy
of the
to
tougher
bet.
guys to bet too. It's true.
Yeah.
But
I'm probably gonna pass just because I don't.
yeah.
Hard for me to trust Barrera. But
What's the weather in
probably a good
Bucharest
look, maybe.
tomorrow?
What?
What's the weather in Bucharest?
It's decent. I think it's like 60 degrees, 55,
Yeah.
between 50 and 60 Fahrenheit. Winds are a very reasonable 5 miles an hour.
Okay.
So cool, but not insane. Not like Munich cold, like cool
Decent
conditions.
Yeah, I'm gonna play the under 21.5. I don't know. I feel like Corda's gonna beat him pretty easily. But
All right, Tony, tell us about.
Yeah.
I'm on the pass. Manny's on the under.
Well, I'm on Barrera.
okay.
Yeah, I don't hate the under. I feel like Corda, yeah, maybe he either steamrolls him or he loses 2 games and decides he's got something wrong with his leg and retires, so you're free rolling. Yeah, so numbers wise, I'll just do the general if you bet on them every match. Barrera, 14 matches over the last year on clay. If you had bet every one of them, you're up 7 units. If you had bet him every time on the spread, you're up 4.7 units. Corda, I've got 6 matches, 6 completed matches on clay for the last year. You would be down 5 units betting him on the money line. You would be down 2.2 betting him on the spread. So Corda, not very good last year. Not surprising, I guess. He's playing awful compared to what he was 1 year ago. As far as stats, last month Barrera 5 matches, and he is at 118 hold plus break. He's been an average 1.2 game favorite in those matches, so he has been the better player, but 118 is pretty impressive. He's holding serve 94% of the time. Korda, 2 matches, 98% hold plus break. He's only holding 62% those 2 matches. And in those matches, he has been, oh geez, he's been a 2.33 game dog in those 2 matches. So can that be right? Okay, yeah, he was a half game favorite and then a 5 game underdog. Who was he a 5 game underdog to?
Sinner.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I mean, yeah, if the stats go out the window, if you played 2 matches and one of them was against Sinner, I mean, doesn't really mean much. But I do know Korda's game very well. He's almost in the Felix category for me at this point. Like when I turn him on, I just turn it off in disgust. Like I know how good he can play. He drives me crazy because he's just, I've seen him play
You should
so.
start watching his sister on the golf course. You know, you might actually keep the TV on if you do that. You should bet on his sister.
Do you remember his final against Novak last year at one of the first tournaments of the year in 20? How good he was. He's so far from that, man. I don't know anything about
Well, he's
Barrera, so.
half the time is the problem, and I like and like
Yeah.
that's a problem for his ranking, but it's got to be impossible to get any like consistent like rhythm into your game. You know what I mean? Like not even within a match, but just like rhythm into your game, and like you know, when you're injured every other month, like
absolutely.
Injuries are also really, really problematic for tennis. I mean, we've seen team kind of just completely go away, and
so,
maybe
that's interesting. So I mean, Barrera's not like the most powerful player in the world. I feel like Korda struggles against more powerful players or more aggressive players. Could just be a feeling, but I mean, it's back what you're saying, man, with like an underplay. I don't know. I mean, I'm not. I feel like I'm a pass here.
It's weird. This match, I feel like it's either under or 3 sets. Like either one kind of fits, but nothing in between. You know what? Like, because if Korda struggles, like this is going 3 sets and it's going to be 7-6 in the third, right? But like he could also win 1 and 2. So maybe I play both, given that the 3 sets line is like plus 165 here. And just like split the unit. But I don't know, that's my take. I don't know.
Yeah, I took Barrera. I took Barrera money line, and then I also got a 4.5 on the spread, it looks like.
I'd use a little caution with that, just because of like when Korda actually plays a decent match, like he could win 1 and 2. Like it's happened a bunch of times in the last couple tournaments.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, he's capable of destroying
in Dubai it happened.
You're not you're not backing Barrera here, like because you think it's gonna be like 7-6, 7-5. I don't think. I don't think you know. I mean, I don't think it's gonna get to your point, man. I think it's gonna be like either Korda's gonna play well or he's like the match is on Korda's racket. Either gonna play well or he's not gonna play well. The match is not on Barrera's racket here.
Yeah, you're banking. If you're betting on Barrera, you're banking on Korda playing a bad match and finishing the match.
I get the Barrera money line. I just personally I wouldn't take the 4.5 or the 4.5. I don't know if that's the best play on a slow court.
What's the 4.5 versus Barrera to win a set?
Yeah, I'd probably prefer that Barrera to win a set.
Or the 3 set line, man. And I think that's an interesting play too here. And you hope Korda just plays and you hope just Korda just plays badly and plays badly enough to make it a 3 set match. I don't know. It's because Korda could definitely play some bad matches. Like he's
Barrera to win a set is plus 115, and the 3 sets is plus 175 on Bovada.
I love playing those 3 set lines at plus 150 or better. It's like one of my something I love doing. I don't know. I'll probably.
I'm turning I'm actually transitioning towards playing the 3 set line.
Just because of the price, yeah.
Inside of the under. but
I think I'm gonna pass.
are you you're sticking by your Barrera pick?
Yeah, I am. I already played all these. Yeah, Pedro is one I played yesterday, and then Barrera. I've got Barrera and
Oh, yeah.
Barrera spread. I think the same way you got. I don't disagree with anything you guys are saying about any of these matches. Like Korda should crush him, but
Yeah.
he just doesn't do it enough. Like he's got too many duds in there where we
Yeah.
just
No, you're right. You're right.
you start getting 3-1. It's entirely possible he just throws in another dud. He's done
Yeah.
it too many
Yeah.
times.
All right, next match we got here is, let's see. Seaboth Welch against Mariana Navoni. I mean, this line's been out. It's been postponed actually 2 days now. Navoni is -138. Seaboth Welch is +110. I got Navoni money line here. I got it at a slightly better price, luckily. I think Navoni's been sneaky good. I think he's kind of been flying under the radar. Seaboth Welch might just be like, what the hell? This match has been postponed for two days. He's not the most mature cat in the world. I don't know. I like what Navoni has been doing recently. Like, maybe that finals run in Rio wasn't a fluke. Anyone?
Yeah, I'm on Navoni here too, but it's not my favorite play in the world. It's a single play unit. It's like not. Yeah, I don't love it, but I'll take it. But it's not my favorite play.
Okay.
Whoa, I'm on Navoni. I don't believe it. We're on
Wow. Nice.
Let's go, squad.
Nice.
Right.
Agreement.
Got one. I can read you quick stats. Yeah, Navoni's stats are really impressive. He's got 16 matches in the last 3 months, 111 hold plus break.
Wow.
Last month, 5 matches, 114 hold plus break. Seaboth, last 3 months, 8 matches. He's at 94 hold. No, I'm sorry, 95 hold plus break. I should have said Navone in those 16 matches, he's been an average of a half game favorite. So he's played about the same people relative to him. Seaboth, last 3 months says he's been an average of a 0.3 fave. So again, very similar competition, but he's only at 95 hold plus break. His one match at this tournament was 106 hold plus break as 1.5 game favorite. The yearly stuff is I didn't realize how well Navoni's doing. You'd be up 10 units betting on him every match. He's played 17 matches on the money line.
Wow.
Every match on the spread, you'd be up about 4. Seaboth, his numbers are deceiving. Who did he beat? He beat Medvedev, didn't he, on clay?
Yeah, the first round of the French. Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. Last year he's up 6.7 units, but I think most of that is quite a bit of that's the Medvedev match. Who's a huge.
Also beating Fritz in Miami.
Yeah,
he's a good dog guy.
Oh yeah, that's not
Big dog guy.
Yeah. So that's 20 matches. You'd actually be up 6.7 units on Seaboth. I think just from that Medvedev match, a huge part of it. On the spread, you'd be down a half unit over 20 matches. So Navoni's what you'd be doing really well betting on Navoni the last year. And his stats are in Navoni's favor by quite a bit. He's certainly outperforming the market expectation more than Seaboth is.
Here's another fascinating stat on. It's more of a theory than it is like I don't know if it's how valuable it is. And this is not just clay. This is all surfaces, and this includes qualifying also. So a lot of caveats here. But Seaboth Welch is 19 and 18 in Masters and Slams in his career.
Wow, pretty
Which
hot.
like I said, that includes qualifying. I probably shouldn't throw out qualifying from this. So if I throw out qualifying, it's not going to be as good. But he's 4-2, 4-3 in Masters events in his career on all surfaces, and
so he likes a
2
big
and 3 in
stage.
slams.
Probably likes. I get the sense that he kind of likes the attention and the stage and embraces that kind of thing. I mean, you're
Yeah.
saying that record is pretty good for him, right?
I mean, I
Like
think 6-6 for a guy of Steve Filch's caliber at Masters and Slams.
Yeah.
I mean, those are the top events in the sport.
Yeah.
That's pretty good for a guy
I mean, we
who's.
saw
Yeah.
him in Miami. He's
Yeah.
quite talented, you know, like he's a really good shot maker and, you know, he has ability. It's just the maturity, which is a problem. And I think the fact that this has been postponed, he has to play 2 matches in a day, like that could get in his head. Also, this is a surface transition for him. Like the last match he's played was against Yari in Miami.
Wait, he did see. Wait, Steve Filch got a bye here to the second round.
I might be wrong. Let me double check on that.
You've got him.
Yeah, he beat
playing
Luca
one
Nardi in the
match.
first round.
Oh, okay.
In a third set tiebreak.
Okay. Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right. First day of the tournament. Okay, never mind.
He is kind of a high ceiling guy. He's a guy I think you do want as a big dog.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
He's like in the Marajan camp in that aspect.
It's also we didn't play style, right? Like Steve Filch is pretty aggressive, I would say, as a player. And Navone is very defensive. So it's an interesting matchup from that perspective, too. It's a defender versus an aggressive player. I think a cooler court should be a little slower. It's got that court's got to be slow. It's got to be damp from all the rain.
Oh yeah, 100%.
It's gonna be in the 50s tomorrow there, like high 50s Fahrenheit. That's not particularly hot.
Yeah.
So that would favor Navone. The more I like it, the more I'm talking myself into Navone. I think it'd be different if it was bigger stage or if it was if it wasn't Steve Filch's like style. I don't particularly love Navone, but because I also think Navone is a guy who like you'd rather have in like heat or in like some kind of like I don't know, different condition for the other player too. Because he's just like he's like base, like he's a base level guy, but it's like he just doesn't do very much. Like he just makes a lot of balls, but that might be enough to beat Steve Filch.
From the eye test, like he's not really a guy you really want to back, but like the results show otherwise.
Yeah, I mean, I'm on Navone here, but it's
that family play.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
We got one.
Nice.
We got one.
Yeah.
All right. 3 more matches to get to. Cerundolo against Coria.
This is a round of 16 match, right? This is the match that got postponed from today.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I'll just say it. Dolo is a -200 favorite. Coria is +165. I see like 3 games.
Yeah, I think the market's got this one right around right. Like, I'd rather have Coria on South American clay. I feel like he does better in heat or altitude. Like, he's done really well in Marrakech in his career. He's done really well in Cordoba. Like, both like warmer tournaments with altitude. I feel like those kinds of conditions are better. Like, he's like Navona, but I actually think he has no power, Coria. Like, it's just like his forehand's like, I guess, kind of okay, but watching him, he's like a worse version of his older brother. Guillermo Coria, I think he's Guillermo Coria's much younger brother. Guillermo Coria was kind of like that too back when he played, but he was a lot better. I mean, Coria was top 5 in the world, played some great matches against Nadal. Some of those Masters finals were ridiculous.
I'm still sad he didn't get that.
What?
I'm still sad he didn't get that French Open title against Gaston.
Yeah, he lost to Gaudio. Yeah.
That was one of the craziest 5th sets ever. I don't know if you've seen replays of it.
Oh, I mean, I watched it. I remember watching it on TV back then. Like, back when I was a kid. Like, yeah, but yeah, he just has. But I don't know. Like, Cerundolo also, hasn't been great this year. I know I've been talking up the from what I heard, like one of the other players, South American players, said he had food poisoning in the beginning of the year, which may have impacted his results in like the Jan-Feb time frame because they were not good. He was terrible during Jan-Feb. He's played a little bit better since then. Always seems to play a little better in Miami, but he played a little better in Miami. Had a close loss to Kachanov. I think lost close to Kachanov again on the clay, right? Was it 3 sets he lost to Kachanov a week or two ago?
Yeah, twice in Monte Carlo and in Miami.
But I mean, I said that you'd rather have Coria on not cool, slower European play, but he still is like he's an okay-ish clay court player. I'm not convinced quite yet in Cerundolo, so I'm gonna pass. I mean, Cerundolo should win this match, but I'm gonna pass.
I mean, actually, my lean would be the Dolo over 12.5 here at -110. because I think Coria will compete and force Dolo into some errors, but like I can't see Coria really running away with a set just because Dolo has just so much more power and ability on slower clay. So that's where I would lean, but I'm staying away.
I'm guessing that Piranha's going to be on Coria, just because the numbers I'm sure are going to favor Coria over the past 3 months. I'm not sure, but I'm guessing.
I'm actually with you guys. It's a pass for me. You are right though. That kind of how are they doing relative to market favors Coria. I would be on Coria, but I have other models looking at luck, and I have Cerundolo as being very unlucky on clay last year. So it's a pass for me. But yeah, numbers wise, quite a bit of data on Coria. 16 matches last 3 months. He is at 105 hold plus break. He's been an average half game underdog in those matches, so he's really outperforming. Cerundolo 9 matches in the last 3 months, average of 1.3 game favorites, and he is at 99 hold plus break, so he's obviously underperforming. So yeah, I have Coria definitely as the guy the market is undervaluing, and Cerundolo is overvaluing. I just have Cerundolo as being really unlucky, so it's a pass, but I would lean Coria if forced to bet.
Okay. Interesting. All right.
Both guys, good guys to bet on clay though. They're both up money line and spread over the last year.
Yeah, I think with Dolo's recent struggles, like this year after the food poisoning, like he's really started the year weak. So like, last year I totally understand, but like I think the last couple of months it might skew the data slightly.
Maybe. I mean, how long does food poisoning last? It's only a few days, right?
Yeah.
Well, I guess the argument would be like
lose weight.
You
maybe.
lose your rhythm. You're out. You're actually in bed for, let's say, a few days to a week, but then then it throws off your practicing, yada yada. Like it shouldn't be 2 months though. Like, at some point, you should be able to get that back. I hear you.
Yeah.
You're not completely wrong. It's not the best excuse.
Maybe it is though. Didn't Shevchenko have food poisoning? He can't win a match, and he's been pretty awful. I don't know.
I mean, I guess I guess it depends how serious, right? If you lose like 10, 12 pounds, I guess as a pro athlete, right? Especially when the edges are so minor, right? Like, man, I talk about when we started the pot off like this is you're talking about 2 points a set, right? Like if you're 2 points a set worse, your record tanks.
Yeah, exactly. It's a massive difference. Yeah.
All right. This is going to be a fun match to talk about. Moutet against Fucsovics. It's a quarterfinal.
I actually wouldn't be surprised to see Moutet as a small favorite here. I'm guessing probably Fucsovics will be like a maybe a 1-game favorite here, but I'm tempted to back Moutet here if he's only a small favorite. If
Moutet's even money. Fucsovics is minus 120.
And what's the spread? 1 game, right?
0.
Oh, 0? Oh, weird. Okay.
Probably because Fucsovics or Moutet is just prone to losing 6-1 sets.
So here's my pick. Moutet has won his last 18 first sets.
Wow. Jeez.
But
yeah, I think he's only won the second set in 9 of his matches.
Wow.
Like if you look at these trending with Moutet, it's at like the last guy to beat him in
wild.
the first set was Baez, who's an amazing, who's a great clay court player back in February in Rio. He's won 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 14. No, my bad, 17. 17 first sets in a row since then. But in those 17 matches, he is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, maybe it's even worse. It might be 7 and 10 in second sets. So and man, we've talked about this. It kind of makes sense. Like Moutet's an incredible tennis player. I don't know if you've watched him.
He's super talented.
Really good. He's really talented. But his head is not.
Yeah, he's an absolute mental nut job.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going right back to the well. I'm going to your play, what you had yesterday, which was genius. I'm playing the Fucsovics set 2 money line.
Well, so I'm going to play the Moutet set 1 and the Fucsovics set 2. I might be able to parlay this together and take that trend and play like the set exacta. Maybe play like the LW. Maybe play Fucsovics to win from a set down, Or, I don't know.
Okay, you got plus 600, so you might as well play both, and then you got plus 300.
Yeah, you're betting 2 units to win 5 or something on that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What site has those lines? I don't have any books that have that.
Bovada has that.
Oh, Bovada. I gotta
That
get a
exact-
Bovada.
Yeah.
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 I would make that set 2 money line GBM play. I think it's a quirky, fun bet, and it's like it's really following a clear trend.
Yeah. And it kind of makes sense. Like there's a you could come, I don't know how good of a theory it is, but there is some sort of qualitative theory as to why that would make it be more than random. And I don't know, Piranha. I feel like 18 matches of data having that discrepancy, like it could be random, but it feels like at some point that's enough.
Well,
At some point,
Moutet
the
just
chance of
can't
being
hold.
random
He
has
just
to be
can't
down
hold it together.
significantly.
If he loses the first set, he's like totally frustrated and just like disinterested.
But that hasn't happened in the last
Right?
17 matches. He's gone up a set.
Yeah, but when he's up a set, he just can't maintain that level of focus.
Yeah,
Right?
I agree with you guys here. Like I'm not too much for these trends. I do think 18 would get my attention though. That's something where at that point that's extremely unlikely to be variance.
And Manny, the funny part is like the market. So what is like the first set money line versus the second set money line? It's probably the same, or maybe like 5
It's
cents
about
difference.
the same. Yeah, Moutet is
Yeah.
they're both minus 110, minus 120.
Yeah.
It's the same.
It makes sense. Moutet's kind of all over the place with his game, so it does. There is some logic to it as well.
The problem here is that Fucsovics is not necessarily the most reliable guy either. You know, especially as it gets later in a tournament. Like there are some guys who you back later in a tournament, versus early in the tournament. And Fucsovics is one of those guys. Like as it gets later in the tournament, he's less likely to win or progress, and he's more fresh early in an event. But like a guy like Rublev, for example, is like very suspect early in the tournament. If he wins a couple matches, then he's dangerous.
I feel like Zverev's like that. I don't know. We've had this discussion. It could be so. I feel like Zverev's a guy. If he gets by the first round, he's usually good. But yeah, that's I'm with you guys as far as the like it going 3 sets or Moutet first set. Yeah, that
Okay.
I kind of like that. I don't think I'll bet it, but it makes sense.
Okay.
The
Brad,
3 set.
what are we
set
making
line.
GBM here?
Oh, we'll make the second set the GBM, and then I'll have a bunch of like. I'll also have a bunch of goofy like funsy money on like the. Well, I'll play the Moutet first set money line, and then I'll play something on the exact also.
Okay, I'm just playing the set 2. I'm not worrying about set 1. All right, next match here. That's the last match of the day that we have up. I mean, there are going to be 2 more matches, but that depends on the results on the round of 16. Fonseca against Alejandro Tabilo. So I'm stoked here because I got the Tabilo 11-1. Did you end up hitting that, Brad?
No, I didn't. I thought there were too many guys who could actually like. There were a lot of guys at the top of this event who are, I don't know how to bet them. Like I guess there's a lot of guys in this event, a lot of decent players, and I don't know. Yeah, but I understand why you'd like it. I was close to betting it.
And I like
kind of kicking myself for not. Once I saw like the kind of the way the draw went, I was kind of kicking myself for not. So yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's I'll beat my chest a little bit if it comes through, but there's still a lot of tennis to be played. I kind of like this matchup for Tabilo. I think, Fonseca is what, 16, 17-year-old with talent, right? Is he still 17?
He might have turned 18. I don't remember, but you might be right,
18?
man. He was, yeah, either way, he's a young kid.
And I just think like he's slightly overvalued here. He had a good win today. But
so what is the spread? 2 games? Two and a half?
2.5. I'm gonna lay the 2.5 here. I think Tabilo is also a very smart match player. And he's underrated for that aspect. And I think he's just gonna outsmart Fonseca.
Yeah, kind of an interesting thought here. So, what is the Tabilo 2-1? Probably your standard, like you're probably getting plus 300 or so. Your standard 3-1.
Plus 280.
Yeah, because I was looking at something like I don't know if you remember, Manny, but against Navona, like Fonseca completely gassed out. Like he arguably should have won that match in Rio, but he completely ran out of gas.
Right.
He's a big ball and he swings hard at a lot of balls.
Yeah.
He's like a very high energy game. And to that end, I was looking at the data. Fonseca in his last, in over the past year is 7-6 in 3-set matches, but 15-7 in 2-set matches. And the 7-6 to me is not that impressive because it's a lot of that's almost all challengers and future level data. I mean, he's been playing pretty much, all challengers and futures with the exception, I think, of he played Rio, he played Santiago, but otherwise it's all challenger level data. I mean, Fonseca does have talent. I'm tempted to play the Tabilo money line or that Tabilo 2-1.
Okay, I think you're giving Fonseca a little bit too much credit here. I think Tabilo, from a tactical perspective, is just in a different league, and I think he's going to find ways to counteract that Fonseca power and talent. That's just me. I'm gonna lay the 2.5. I think it should be like 3.5. So what do the numbers say, Tony?
Yeah, well, this one's a pass for me. The last one was too. This one, Fonseca, 7 matches. If you bet every money line on those 7 matches, you're up 3.5 units. If you bet every spread, you're up 0.75 units with him. His hold plus break over those 7 matches. This is last 3 months actually. Since he came on tour, I think. So he's 105 hold plus break. In those matches, he's been an average half game underdog. So he's, obviously outperformed. He's played guys supposedly better than him at 105, I think I said. Tabilo is 14 matches over the last year. He's at 106 or 107 hold plus break. In those matches, he's been an average 1.3 game favorite. If you had bet on every match, you would have lost 1.3 units on the money line. On the spread, you'd be down half a unit. So you're about evenish on him. Let's see, last month, Tabilo is at 105 hold plus break. He's been an average 0.2 game favorite, so he's playing, equal competition.
Mm-hmm.
And then last month for Fonseca, he is at 100, and he has been a 0.2 dog. So he's basically the opposite of Tabio, where he's playing people slightly better than him. Yeah, I don't have anything here. I've got this one very, very close. I agreed with everything that you guys said, kind of the qualitative stuff from what I've seen out of Fonseca. I think he's incredible, got incredible ground strokes. I don't know, his fitness maybe a little suspect. He is like you said, he's a big guy. He's a lot of energy in his game. He exerts himself. So I could see what you're saying. Like he's just getting ground down here.
Mm-hmm.
But definitely good enough to win a set. I mean, he could win the match, obviously, too. That guy's uber talented.
Man, another interesting play here could be the Tabilo over 12.5.
That's an interesting look. It's juice though. It's minus 135.
Yeah,
that's too much juice. Overs on slow clay are just like it's tough. I don't want any juice. Like minus 110 is probably the max I'd go in like an over.
Yeah, I feel like the over 12.5 though is very different on clay than taking the over on the over 22.5 because you're not completely screwed if a 6-2 set comes in. Whereas the over 22.5, you get a 6-2 set coming, then you need the 3 sets.
I just think from a maturity and a tactical perspective, Tabilo is on a higher level, and that's my real my logic behind this pick.
Oh, I mean, no doubt. If you're asking me who's going to win the match, without a line in front of it, right? I would 100% be on.
And to me, Tabilo minus 175 is a decent parlay piece for me. I might do a 2-way parlay with maybe Navoni or something like that.
Yeah.
How many matches is this the 4th match then of the tournament for these guys, or is Fonseca 3rd? Okay.
Second match, I think.
For Tabilo. Tabilo got a bye.
Oh, right. Okay.
This will be Fonseca's third.
Third, yeah.
Do you have any tough matches?
He was
Sonego, and he played
Oh
Sonego
yeah, Sonigo, that's
75.
right. I saw some of that. Yeah, he looked good in that match.
in
I mean, that's why.
Fonseca.
I mean, Fonseca's a tough guy because like he's got skills. Like it's not like he doesn't have skills. Like he's got skills, but there's obviously a lot of question marks.
Yeah, I feel like he's a little rough around the edges, but he's
Which
got
you kind
some.
of expect for a 17-year-old
Yeah.
kid.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, he's way ahead of most
Oh,
people
yeah.
his age.
It's been a
Yeah,
great,
Yeah.
great
yeah.
year. So
I mean, he really is like a hot prospect. Like he's one of the hottest. He's got one of the hottest prospects on the tour. Like
Yes,
for a
yeah.
kid, I
He's
mean,
impressive, man. His
Yeah.
ground strokes are incredible.
oh yeah, off both wings.
Yep.
Yeah, backhand too. Backhand too.
Yeah, both wings. Yeah.
All
Yeah,
right,
he
so just
crushes the ball. Like he crushes it.
he does.
Yeah.
All right, just
Yeah.
a recap of our plays. So in Barcelona, I'm gonna be on the Nori money line. You guys are laying off. Or Tony, I think you're playing Nori as well, right?
Yeah, I forget where I'm at on that one, but sounds right.
Okay. I'm gonna be
Yeah,
on huh?
I'm gonna pass there.
Pass there. All right, I'm laying the games with Rude against Arnaldi. You're playing Rude money line, Tony?
Yeah, I forget because these matches I hadn't gone through, so I was doing them on the fly, and I don't remember who I said now. I'll have to go back.
All right. I'm gonna be
Yeah,
on
I'm gonna pass on that one.
I should have wrote them down as we were going because I don't.
all good. All good. Diaz Acosta, I'm gonna take the games, but not my highest confidence pick. It's like 5 games. I'll take those. Brad, you're laying off here.
It's a pass for me. Yeah,
Pass.
but Diaz Acosta, I feel like I mean, I know he made the quarters, but who did he beat? Marzan and Coric. That's actually Marzan, Coric, and Danny Rincon. That's not terrible. Could be worse.
Terrible. Yeah. Feast and Liavic. We're playing Liavic money line, right? But not.
Yeah, that's one of that's not GBM though, right? You're not.
No, yeah, I can't go 2 units there, but I like it. I like it. And you're playing Feast, right?
I believe I'm on Feast.
You're on Feast. Yeah, you're definitely opposite.
Yeah.
Basically,
Yeah.
everything except Navona, whatever we said, Manny, Piranha's the opposite.
Yeah. Yeah.
In
That's what I remembered.
I'm playing the Draper money line at plus 120. You guys are on the under.
On the under.
Brad's on the under, and I think Tony, you're passing. I believe you said, right?
Yeah, this was Draper Fritz, right?
Right.
I think that was a pass for me. Yeah.
Zverev Garin, where Garin money line is the GBM play, and you're splitting the unit like 4 ways. Or
Oh yeah. I'm like super like this is one of the nights I'm most pumped. Like the qualitative is so far in favor of Green here, I think.
All right. I expect a write-up on a max play. Hopefully we get like another 50 followers.
Well, we need him to win. Like this is a big match for the pod. Like
yeah, it is. It is. Husler and Rune. I'm laying the 3.5 with Rune. I know Tony, you kind of disagree. You were on Husler here, right?
Yeah, one of my probably my strongest one play, I
Wow,
would say.
okay.
Just from a numbers perspective. Obviously, Rune should beat him up, but
Yeah.
Rune minus 500 money line. Play of the day.
It's minus 450 on Bovada, so you get.
All right, well then I mean minus 450. I mean
nice.
he only has to win 83% of the time to like, and I feel like that the only is like kind of legit there. He's just so. I mean, Huser's. It's an ATP level guy versus a challenge level guy. A top ATP level guy, and it was gone.
One thing that Tony has in his favor is the conditions. Like that's
For sure.
a slight equalizer. So yeah, I'm not mad at that play. FAA and Struff. This is another GBM play for us, right? Struff money line.
Yeah.
yeah, this one I do remember. I'm on FA. That I'm ready for the pain as usual.
And then Bucharest, we're all on Pedro, right?
Yeah, that's a squad ride on Pedro.
Yeah.
Nice. And then we're also all on
Navone.
Navone.
Yep, squad ride.
Yep.
Family play. Corda Barrera. I'm on the 3 set line. That's what I changed it from the under. So I'm probably going to play both actually, because I see 1 of 2 outcomes there. So, you guys are passing, I think.
I have Barrera there. I took, I think money line and spread there.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good. Cerundolo, Corey, I think we're all passing, right?
Yeah, we're all past there.
Yep.
Team pass, squad ride.
Yep.
Moutet and Fucsovic. We're doing the set 2 money lines of GBM play, right?
Yeah, and I'm gonna play probably set 1 Moutet and then something on the exacta one way or the other. Or I just play both exactas and do it that way too. Either way.
Nice. I'll probably play the Fucsovic to win with the exacta, just because like I can't trust Moutet mentally. Like, you know, I just can't. Like, he's probably. I want to. What's the over under on racket smashes in this match for Moutet?
3.5.
3.5 at least. Yeah. And then Fonseca
Just for
Tabilo.
finals, they'll have that bet as a prop, like either player to smash a racket.
I know. Well, if we get Moutet to a final, I'll certainly take that. It'll probably be like minus 400 though. Fonseca Tabilo, I'm on the Tabilo minus 2.5. And I think you guys are passing, right?
Pass here, yeah.
All right. All right. Any parting shots before we log out?
Now, we're gonna do a recap section or not?
It's getting late. The people only have like 4 hours to watch, so we're gonna sign up, I guess.
Recap then. All right.
Yeah, we'll recap at the end of the week. So,
well,
thanks a lot, Tony, for joining us. I think this was some of our finest work, so we appreciate it.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys having me on. First podcast I've ever done, and hopefully I didn't make a fool of myself.
Oh no, far from it.
No, we appreciate the input, man. Great stuff. And
yeah, I appreciate you guys. You guys are fun to listen to.
Thank you.
I fall asleep about usually 1 to 2 hours in. I'm out. I can't listen to the whole 3 hours. But I do listen to you guys quite a bit.
All good. All good. Have a good night, guys. See ya.
Yeah.
All right, you too.
All right.
Bye.